Uplifted how I rose, I row internal bow. Breathe deeply in my nose, smooth and super slow. Glow is all I know, the sun stimulates growth. Behold the unknown, the now's inevitable.
There is no outer world. All other is you. There is nothing but self. You are imagining that there is self, and therefore co-defined there is other. But that's lowercase self, which is the ego. It does not exist, and other does not exist. It's all uppercase self, and that is God. And you are dreaming everything. So if £1 million happened to occur within your life, everything's imaginary. Even the phone that you're listening to this on right now, you're dreaming in real time. So everything's imaginary anyway. But if you chose to imagine £1 million and actually manifested that with your thoughts and your will of yourself, or who you think you are, you'd be so conscious that that wouldn't even mean anything to you. Because in order to imagine and then materialise £1 million right in front of you, you would be so radically awake, and that would be so profound of an experience within itself that, do you really think £1 million would mean fuck all to you? Because at that point you're in God consciousness. But yeah, you're imagining everything, bro. You're imagining other. All sense of other is imaginary, and you can realise this on psychedelics, where you realise that it's all yourself, all is God, all is the body of God. The only thing that you're ever looking at is the body of God, and that is self-realisation, and that is how anything is possible, because all is an interconnected field of telepathy, because it's all being dreamt within one mind. Just like when you go to sleep at night, yeah, you can go to sleep at night and you can imagine that you win the lottery. What about that then? So yeah, you can imagine £1 million, because everything's already imaginary. For example, before, like I called you, I said I met this robot girl, yeah? I imagined that I met a robot girl. Remember, I phoned you, I said like, oh, this crazy, like when I had that vision from the sky of them gods coming down, I imagined that. Just like you're imagining material reality, that is imaginary. All is imaginary. Likely you are unconsciously creating your life with your thoughts, because most people don't realise they're thinking. So you can either create consciously in the driver's seat or unconsciously, and that's the root of depression and suffering, is the mind takes charge and is unconsciously creating. So it's not literally, well, it is literally, like, yeah, you are literally imagining the physical world, yeah. But it's not just that, it's because I can imagine that I can imagine anything I want, and this is the nature of schizophrenia. If I imagine that the government's against me and half of the population are reptilians, and there's gang stalkers following me around, listening to everything that I'm saying on my phone and sending it to a database of reptilians and shit, then that becomes basically belief is the case. So you think the earth is round, yeah, you're imagining that the earth is round. Is it actually round? Well, regardless of what it actually physically is, you're still imagining the whole thing, like literally physically. Physical reality is God's will. This is all being willed by God, everything. But outside of physicality, you know, face the facts, man, face the facts. Like, you've gone through your whole life assuming that most people have their own consciousness. You are projecting that other people have their own awareness. That is imaginary. You are imagining that fucking, if someone overhears this conversation right now, if you're stood in the fucking living room with Jess and Jess is listening to this, you're imagining that Jess can hear this as well as you. You're imagining that I am actually on the other side of this phone, and I am actually pressing a voice note and sending it to you. You're imagining that. Is there any evidence of that actually happening in your direct experience right now? No. You are projecting all sense of other because God is eternally sovereign. You will always only be in your bubble of oneness. So if I manage to fool myself so thoroughly, and I end up believing that I am on Earth to do a mission for the Intergalactic Federation, and I've incarnated into this realm as a star seed, whatever I believe becomes true. So, but it's actually physical. So you can believe that your parents are reptilians, and that will actually manifest into reality. And you can perceive that to actually be the case, because belief is so strong that if you believe something is going to hurt you, then it will. If you believe that the toxic food will hurt you, then it will. If you believe that you are that body and that you're not awareness itself, if you believe that you're your body, then you'll be attached to it when it changes. So you believe that you are Ollie, so then when Ollie gets hurt, you suffer because you're attached to what you believe that you are. But if you believe or are directly conscious that you are awareness itself and you are eternal, then all is forever transforming form, so you don't have to be attached to anything. So if your beliefs are actually like physical, like that, like whatever you believe you are is what you will try to maintain in that shape, because if it changes too much, then you will die. So that's what that's what survival is. You're trying to maintain this shape that you believe that you are, and if it changes too much, and that's why it's so hard to change, because if you change too much, then your identity will die, and when your identity dies, you'll realize that you're a god.
Suddenly, like, there was no difference between like me and like a sound or like a color. Like everything was all just the same thing. All of your senses are just one thing. Like right now I experience the world from me. I see, I touch, I have a sense of things. But suddenly I wasn't the main, I could experience everything but as everything. Suddenly I'm no longer rooted to myself. I was just part of it all, man. Suddenly, like, there was no difference between like me and like a sound.
I step foot outside, I'm a different type of grounded. 369 sounds odd, but I feel surrounded.